I had heard the rumors about the old house on Willow Street for as long as I could remember. The townsfolk spoke in hushed tones, telling tales of the decrepit mansion, like an unholy relic from a bygone era. They said the place was cursed, and it was left to rot for good reason. But curiosity is a powerful force, and on a moonless night in October, I found myself standing before the shadowed house. The streetlights, usually comforting beacons, cast eerie, elongated shadows, and the branches of the gnarled oak tree reached out like skeletal fingers, as if warning me to stay away. Yet I couldn't resist the lure of the unknown. The front door groaned as it opened, almost as if it were reluctant to let me in. The air inside was thick with a musty, stale odor, and the wooden floorboards creaked in protest as I stepped further into the darkness. Cobwebs hung like macabre tapestries, and dust motes danced in the feeble light that filtered through cracked windows. As I ventured deeper into the house, I felt an unsettling presence, as though I were not alone. Whispers echoed from the walls, a chorus of incoherent murmurs that sent chills down my spine. Each room I explored revealed more sinister secrets. In the library, old books seemed to move of their own accord, their pages rustling in a spectral breeze. A mournful piano melody wafted through the air in the drawing room. Though there was no pianist in sight, I was beginning to think that perhaps the tales were just that, tales, until I entered the disheveled nursery. To my horror, a child's laughter echoed in the room. A little girl, dressed in a tattered 19th century dress, swung back and forth on a decrepit rocking horse. Her face, though porcelain pale, was etched with a sense of innocence that contrasted starkly with the malevolent energy that seemed to permeate the house. My heart pounded in my chest as I watched the spectral child play. It was as if time itself had fractured, and I had been transported to a different era, a different reality. The air grew colder, and the room darkened as shadows swirled around her, casting an otherworldly gloom over the scene. Desperate to escape the room, I stumbled backward, only to find myself in the master bedroom. The bed was an altar to decay, draped in tattered curtains, and a sickly, sepulchral light emanated from an ornate, long-forgotten mirror that hung above a shattered vanity. As I gazed into the mirror, my reflection warped and shifted, revealing images from the past. A family in happier times, a couple with bright eyes and smiles, and a child, the same one I had seen in the nursery, laughing as she played with her parents. Suddenly, the room grew colder, and a spectral hand, its fingers skeletal and cold to the touch, reached out from the mirror. It whispered a name I recognized, my own name, and beckoned me closer. With a shock of terror, I pulled away, stumbling out of the room and down a corridor that seemed to stretch endlessly. The spectral laughter pursued me, growing louder, more maniacal, echoing in my ears. The walls of the house appeared to close in, as if the very structure itself were alive and malevolent. With each step, the world around me twisted and distorted. The boundaries between the living and the dead blurred, and I was trapped in a nightmarish reality, where time and space had lost all meaning. In a climactic moment of pure horror, I stumbled upon a hidden room in the attic where an array of curse artifacts lay strewn about. Among them was an ancient, sinister-looking Ouija board. Fueled by desperation to escape this nightmare, I made the ill-fated decision to use it to communicate with the spirits that plagued the house. As the planchette moved on its own, my pulse quickened. The messages it spelled out were cryptic, revealing a horrifying truth, that the house itself was a gateway to a malevolent realm, a portal to a dimension of suffering and despair. The spirits that haunted the house were not mere echoes of the past, but malevolent entities seeking to ensnare the living and consume their souls. I was left with an agonizing choice: to remain in the haunted house, a prisoner of its sinister forces, or to make a harrowing sacrifice to seal the gateway and protect others from the unspeakable horrors within. With trembling hands, I faced the most terrifying decision of my life as the spirits closed in, their ghostly presence threatening to overwhelm me. Halloween night had become a night of unimaginable terror, and the echoes of the shadowed house on Willow Street would haunt me for eternity. I had ventured into a realm of unspeakable horror, and the darkness had taken hold of my soul, leaving me forever changed. The shadowed house on Willow Street had become a legend, a nightmare etched in the annals of time, a grim reminder of the malevolent forces that lurk in the darkest corners of existence.